There is no evidence that it is an inside job. It was a fringe conspiracy theory that the Trump-appointed FBI director, Christopher Wray, has said explicitly over and over is just not true.
I would say, looking at the facts of the video footage that have come out, Dana, it is shocking that you still haven't gotten a clear answer of how many federal agents were in the field that day. Look at now the video footage of actually throwing explosives and rubber bullets into what was a peaceful crowd, then releasing to the public what came in response to that. But now look at the video footage that was released, and I'm glad we're talking about it because viewers deserve to look at that footage. Capitol Police literally letting people in who were then now prosecuted. Some of them have gone on to commit suicide because of what the government's doing. That is a case of entrapment. You guys said this for a long time about the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot. Suddenly gone silent after it comes out at trial that absolutely that was a case of entrapment, which is why 2 of those people were acquitted. So I'm saying this as somebody who, on the other side of this, as a biotech CEO, somebody who was even anti-woke, but if I was looking at this, I would have said a lot of this is crazy talk. But if you actually get into the details, I think it is startling how much the government has systematically lied.
All right, folks, quick Saturday video for you, but I want to react to something I think a lot of people missed this week, which was the post game of the GOP debate. Obviously, Wednesday was the 4th debate, and long story short, you can go back and watch my content on it if you want. But to put it simply, Vivek Ramaswamy absolutely stole the show. It was about 2 hours of him just embarrassing the neocons on that stage the entire night, and that was certainly one for the books. I think, though, what a lot of people have not seen, and we're going to react to here today, is him taking on CNN's Dana Bash in the post-debate, sort of interviews and press conferences here. And CNN tries to grill him on something he said during the debate, which was when he proclaimed that January 6th was an inside job. Those were his words, not my words. Now, for the purposes of YouTube, I'm just not going to comment on that. People can say what they say, people can think what they think, but I do want to show you here how Vivek so masterfully handles this situation. The woman thinks, oh, well, I have my official CIA and FBI and government narratives, and he's spreading conspiracy theories, and this is going to be an easy gotcha question. And it's completely turned on its own head. And by the end, she basically just keeps saying the same thing over and over again. But Dana Bash is completely humbled and silenced on this January 6th question. So we're going to react to that here today. But before we do that, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. All right, here it is. Post GOP debate, Vivek Ramaswamy. First he owned the neocons. Now he's about to own CNN. Let's take a listen to what ensues here.
Let's start with January 6th.
Sure.
There is no evidence that it is an inside job. It was a fringe conspiracy theory that the Trump-appointed FBI director, Christopher Wray, has said explicitly over and over is just not true.
So
right off the gate, as you can see, this is what CNN always does. They're like, oh, but government agencies said that this is what happened. It's like, okay, CNN, are you missing the point? Most people in this country don't trust government agencies, and rightfully so. Because when you look at the history of all of the things government agencies have lied about or were wrong about or have now declassified over the past few decades, that's pretty justified to be skeptical of government agencies. Again, I personally am not commenting on the J6 stuff. I'm just saying that's why people feel the way they feel. Here's Vivek's response.
So let me, I appreciate the opportunity to address it. I was an anti-woke crusader leaving the business world, and if you had asked me 3 years ago, is there some chance January 6th is an inside job, I would have said that was crazy talk. I would say, looking at the facts of the video footage that have come out, Dana, it is shocking that you still haven't gotten a clear answer of how many federal agents were in the field that day. Look at now the video footage of actually throwing explosives and rubber bullets into what was a peaceful crowd, then releasing to the public what came in response to that. But now look at the video footage that was released, and I'm glad we're talking about it because viewers deserve to look at that footage. Capitol Police literally letting people in who were then now prosecuted. Some of them have gone on to commit suicide because of what the government's doing. That is a case of entrapment. And I think the government has not been transparent about this, which is why I then brought up another case where the government, now 20 years later, with declassified documents, tells us that they lied to us at the time. And so I do think we have a government that's consistently lied to its people.
But an inside job suggests that everybody who attacked the Capitol was part of that.
I didn't say that, but I was saying that there's entrapment going on. There's entrapment going on, and this looks like a case of entrapment. And if you look at even over the last day. What do you mean by
entrapment?
I think, again, I'm not commenting on it, but I will point out that federal agencies and sometimes even police do this all the time. They kind of bait people into committing crimes or whatever it is. This is verifiably what happened in the Gretchen Whitmer situation. Feds have done that stuff for years, where they basically incite or instigate or basically just try to frame people for stuff and then say, oh, you're going to jail now, you know. And many people believe that's what happened with Ray Epps. Again, YouTube, I'm not commenting on it. I'm just pointing this stuff out, right? So I think that's what Vivek's trying to get at here.
Entrapment means that the police goaded people to do something than they otherwise wouldn't have done, and then they arrest them for actually doing it.
And you don't think it was actually the former president who was trying to get people?
Well, I think that was the media narrative. Now look at actually a hard case.
We heard him with our own ears. I'm going to ask you about a case
and see what you think about this, right? You guys said this for a long time about the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot. Suddenly gone silent after it comes out at trial that absolutely that was a case of entrapment, which is why 2 of those people were acquitted.
Look at her face. It's like the Nikki Haley face. Okay, it's the same thing that was happening in the debate a couple minutes before.
So I'm saying this as somebody who, on the other side of this, as a biotech CEO, somebody who was even anti-woke, but if I was looking at this, I would have said a lot of this is crazy talk. But if you actually get into the details, I think it is startling how much the government has systematically lied. And I think it's both parties over the course of the last 25 years.
But on the
left used to be better at pointing this out and being skeptical of the government, but now it's the right.
Which is the most aggressive, offensive attack on the U.S. Capitol and on democracy itself that we have seen in our lifetime and in many, many lifetimes, to say without evidence.
Okay, hold on a minute. On 9/11, one of the hijackers was headed to Washington, D.C. to either, I mean, people don't know for sure, obviously, but it was either to take out the Capitol or the White House. I think that's a little bit bigger of a thing. I mean, I know they didn't succeed, obviously, but I think that's a little bit bigger of a quote unquote attack on the American Capitol than a bunch of like MAGA grandmas and Trump supporters being led into a building and then walking around and yelling some stuff. Okay. You know, so I know they say this all the time, but this is not at all true. That's a ridiculous statement to make. Really.
That it was an inside job.
I'm not saying it without evidence. I think that what we're seeing now is the video footage that's come out. I was in a different place before a lot of that evidence came out, but you have to respond to the evidence. What is your response, or what is anybody else on CNN's response to the video footage that was released of Capitol Police literally just peacefully allowing people into the Capitol?
What we know
or shooting
is that
into peaceful crowds.
850 people have been convicted of crimes.
But the reality is many of them were convicted before that information was released.
And do you think that former President Trump has anything to do with this?
No, because you're bringing up a really good point, and your audience and everybody deserves to know the truth about this. Normally, there's a rule in constitutional law. It's called the Brady Rule. You have to turn over exculpatory evidence to the other side. In this case, it wasn't turned over because the DOJ said Congress was sitting on.
So you can tell she is totally flabbergasted. Vivek clearly knows what he is talking about. And I mean, we've reacted to many different episodes of this same story before. Vivek versus CNN or Vivek versus some neocon. But I think that was a complete masterclass. Because again, she comes in and she's going to stand on this hill of, I'm CNN. We're the most trusted name in news. And we have the government said this. And then he knows what he's talking about. I'm not saying I'm agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just saying he doesn't sound like crazy talk whatsoever, right? He breaks stuff down. He brings up things that she doesn't even know about. And then he even, points out the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping scandal, to which she has very little response. She's flabbergasted the whole time. And, props to Vivek. This was a great job. And I think this was an underrated moment. really, of Wednesday night. I mean, really, he was on fire that entire debate, I guess you could say. You know, they put something in his water. I don't know. He's usually normally like that anyway. But with that said, folks, let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section down below. I certainly think, I mean, let's be real, this guy is not going to be the nominee this time around, unless something really crazy happens or Trump is taken out of the race or whatever. But I definitely think this guy deserves, first of all, serious consideration for a future presidential candidate, whether that's 2028 or whatever. I'm not saying I'm endorsing him right now, but I think that's something that needs to be looked at. But especially, too, in Trump's cabinet. I know people have been talking about Ramaswamy for VP. To tell you the truth, I don't know if he's my ideal pick, because I don't know if he fits, he kind of, what's the right word here? Compliments. That's what I'm looking for. Compliments Trump in the right way you usually want to do for a VP, but I wouldn't entirely hate it because he is very articulate. Okay. He has a very polarly opposite sort of speaking style to Trump. And that's very important. And he's young, right? People are going to say Trump is old, even though Biden's much older. He's a young kind of. So I think personality wise, even if they have very similar ideas, personality wise, Vivek does complement Trump quite well. And if Trump's speaking style is sort of bash, you know, aggressive, that's how he is. Vivek is sort of this like fact based, you know, disarming, kind of a calmer, total polar opposite, again, rhetorically, of the way Trump approaches stuff. And he's young. I don't know. Could be an idea. Could complement the ticket. I know a lot of people have been talking about it. Like I said, I don't know if it's my ideal pick, but I could certainly see it. He also could be chief of staff. Press secretary would be very good for him. But, you know, obviously, because he's very good at doing this type of stuff. But props to Vivek. I don't know. Good job. It really is all I have to say. Again, on the substance, because of YouTube, I'm not going to comment too much on the case he actually was making there. All I'm going to say is he defended it quite well. Hopefully you can read into the rest of that for yourself. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. How do you feel about Vivek after the 4th GOP debate? And until next time, I will see you later. Have a happy Saturday. Alpha moves only. God bless and peace.